Alright, so it's been a while since I've done a long format video that's in relation of me hoping that Ori goes to the PlayStation. Hey, that rhyme. All jokes aside, before we get to the main topic of this video, we're going to be talking about some of the tweets that Peter Ovo said, and that's the developer of Hi-Fi Rush, of his response telling the PlayStation fans of begging for Moon Studios to make a PlayStation port for both Ori 1 and Ori 2. So as you can see, the PlayStation fans being said by Lonely Gamer and Raheem Gid saying, please put Ori on the PlayStation, and Moon Studios keep responding to the PlayStation fans with the same response, saying that Ori is an intellectual property owned by Microsoft, so it is exclusively their decision to determine the platform on which to release the game. And I do feel for the PlayStation fans, asking for Moon Studios to port Ori to the PlayStation, but to be fair, they're the developers of the game. They're not really held accountable for the port. It's up to Microsoft, all right? And it's really not Moon Studios' fault. It's really up to Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty, I'm sorry that that's your last name if you got bullied for it, to put Ori to the PlayStation, which we probably might have that happen. This is the tweet made by Peter Ovo saying they're poor begging for another Xbox-owned game, Ori, to come to the PlayStation, laughing emoji, hashtag just buy an Xbox. Now this statement angers me, and there's really no end to it, because if you use this same statement on the same argument for Xbox fans begging for a PlayStation game to be ported to the Xbox, there's really no solution towards it. Neither parties, whether it's Team Xbox or Team PlayStation, would want to spend triple digits on their hard-earned money just to play a console that is only meant for this game to be played on this said console. And no, I'm not really vocal about console wars. I mean, sure, PlayStation may have won the console wars and Microsoft took the L, with Nintendo also selling a lot of units of the Nintendo Switch. Console exclusivity is what's ruining the gaming industry. It's always about competition. I mean, sure, there's a good business practice towards it, but there's really gonna be no end to the battle or to the war of which console is better. I just want this to stop. It's honestly pretty annoying that it's still going regardless how many times people will bring it up just to be put on that argument that they're on, whether it's on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, whatever social media outlet you use. I'm sorry if I sounded a bit out of character during that segment, but I'm being dead honest. I really don't like console wars. So now that we're done with that segment, I want to be talking about a couple of tweets that Thomas Mailer did say that are important to point out and are in relation to the topic of this video. Thomas Mailer made a tweet back in October 16 of 2023 saying, "It's always surprises to me how few people actually play Sudoku 1 and 2. Final Fantasy 7, alright, obviously overshadowed that series back then, but those games did a lot of super interesting stuff that we've barely seen since then." And then João Pedro Sena says, "Any plans for Ori on PlayStation?" He responds with, "Not in our hands, Microsoft would have to be down to it." So like I said, it's not really the fault of Moon Studios or Thomas Mailer that they haven't ported Ori to the PlayStation. It's ultimately the decision of Phil Spencer to put Ori to the PlayStation when the decision is final, and maybe there could be a round 2 of the next 4 games from Xbox going to the PlayStation. What I'm also noticing, there's a couple more people that do want Ori to be ported to the PlayStation, and once again, turns out that I'm not alone. Now, out of sheer curiosity, I went on Google and searched up Ori for the PlayStation if there's any articles and it's in relation talking about it, and there is one saying, is Ori coming to the PS5? Is the Ori series coming to PS5? There are plenty of excellent platformers and Metroidvania titles available to play today, but 2 that stand out as must-play titles are Ori and the Blind Forest and the sequel, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Both titles feature not just excellent gameplay, but stunning visuals and a heart-wrenching narrative that has connected players deeply with the game's main characters and world. But if you've only ever had a PlayStation console, like myself, then you've not been able to play these games as they have not been released on PS5 or PS4. That hasn't stopped players from asking the question, is the Ori series coming to PS5? Will the Ori games come to PlayStation? Let's find out. Is the Ori series coming to PS5? The short answer is no. Both Ori and the Blind Forest and Will of the Wisps sequel are published by Xbox Game Studios, which means we won't see those games come to PlayStation. The long answer is, however, a huge maybe. Not only have both games already been published on Nintendo Switch, recent rumors abound, apparently, that Xbox Game Studios titles are going to be released on multiple console platforms. That means potentially releases of any Xbox Game Studios owned IP coming to PS5 and or PS4. Nothing is set in stone, of course, but these rumors, along with precedent for the series being on other consoles, set things in a more positive light. Both the Ori games look excellent when pushed to the graphical limits, and it would be amazing just to see how far they could go on PS5 and what DualSense features could be implemented to further enhance the experience. For now, however, with no word from Moon Studios on it and the fact that the team has moved on to its next project, it doesn't seem likely. Nothing is ever set in stone, however, when it comes to games being ported to other platforms. Now, this is is a theory, however. Thanks to Whimsu for pointing it out. I'll leave that link in the description of the video. And every single video that I've made of my journey hoping for Ori to be coming to the PlayStation, this is so far my 20th video. All right, ever since from October of 2022 and currently February of 2024. There's also something that I want to add on to this video, is that my theory for every Xbox exclusive game being ported to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, and probably the majority of the Xbox exclusives going to the PlayStation, my theory is that the majority, I'm not saying it's all of them, the majority of the Xbox exclusives going to PlayStation are mostly going to be Xbox exclusive. So far, we have Grounded, that is both PS4 and PS5. We have Hi-Fi Rush, that is PS5 exclusive, and Pentiment, I'm gonna have to put a screenshot on it, that is also PS5 exclusive. Another article that I do want to point out, it says Microsoft reportedly tells staff that every screen is an Xbox, quote unquote, ahead of today's business update. Microsoft's Sarah Bond reportedly told employees during a town hall meeting this week that every screen is an Xbox, quote unquote, which comes ahead of the format holders' much anticipated business meeting today, where it will unveil its future plans for Xbox. Bond is reported to have then talked about Microsoft's goal for incorporating Xbox on multiple kinds of devices and, quote unquote, becoming the #1 cross-platform gaming company, which directly ties in with previous rumors of numerous Xbox exclusives coming to rival formats. Following this, the Xbox president then reportedly showcased images of Palworld running on tablets, TV screens, monitors, and handheld devices. An inverse report adds, internally, employees expressed surprise at seeing so much Palworld and joked about the possibility of an Xbox handheld, which has also been rumored. Microsoft will discuss its Xbox business update in a podcast, and, well, that already happened. To end this off, as of right now, there's been 4 Xbox exclusive games that just went multi-platform. Pentiment went to the Switch and PlayStation on February 22nd. Hi-Fi Rush went to the PlayStation on March 18th. Grounded is going to be going to the PlayStation and Nintendo Switch on April 16th. And Sea of Thieves is going to be going to the PlayStation on April 30th. Now, once again, this is just a theory, but I feel like once these 4 Xbox exclusive games that went multi-platform, some of them went to the PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, but most of them have gone to the PlayStation. And once they do successful, and they did pretty well on the sales for both PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, my theory is that the majority of the Xbox exclusives, I'm not saying that's going to be all of them, are most likely going to be PS5 exclusive. And we're also probably at a bad time for every PS5 fan, that apparently the PS5 is on its final days, even though it has been alive for 3 years. This marks the my first year anniversary of having the PS5 in my house. I spent 4 years getting that. You guys probably don't care. With all that being said, though, my hopes for Ori to be on the PlayStation are still there. Once again, it has been a long time, and it's been a while since I've done a video of a long format video talking about Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps being on PlayStation. I really can't predict when this date of Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps is going to the PlayStation. But what I will say is this: once Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps goes to the PlayStation, me and my family, me and my parents, we're gonna celebrate like it's the new year. We are going to be celebrating this the same way that my dad's sisters finished their cancer treatment and is now breast cancer free. We are going to be celebrating this as if we got a president that doesn't stutter or speaks gibberish every 5 minutes when he makes a speech. We're going to be celebrating this as if my dad just got a raise from the job that he's working on, which I do hope so. Like, no pun intended, I do hope so, IRL. And I promise you, once both of these games go multi-platform, you're going to be seeing reactions and emotions that you have never seen on my YouTube channel. There's gonna be rage, there's gonna be scenes of sorrow, there's gonna be moments where I am in a lot of joy, and then that emotion is gonna switch back to being sad and in disbelief. You're gonna be seeing moments where I am in full excitement, as equally as seeing the final battle on episode 131 on Dragon Ball Super. We're gonna be playing this game as if we got a early copy to playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. We're gonna be playing this game as if we got early access to playing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, aka Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 4. We're gonna be playing this game as if we got a code to play Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart early before it got released on its initial release date back in 2021. Listen, the game may be 8 hours, but those 8 hours are gonna feel like 8 years when I play it. So with all that being said, I will see you all soon when Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps gets ported to the PlayStation.